Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It is a Tuesday edition, a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out, International Diamond Center there in Celebration Point. Today's show, we'll have Buddy Martin and Franz Beard. We'll talk about Franz's new book, The Golden Season. We'll also talk about Gators hoops that plays tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time against the Oklahoma Sooners out in Norman. Missed it last night. The Texans defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just a nasty defense. One of the best defenses I've ever seen in NFL history, really. So we're all set with the next round, and we'll talk all about it with our guy here, Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. Good morning, Buddy. How you doing?
Good morning, Shane. I'm doing well this morning. It's a little cold here, and I'm from Ocala. But this is the cold weather season. Back in Denver, we called it the stock show weather. That's when it was single digits in Denver and not quite that cold. Today, yes, I watched last night, and it's one of the best third down defenses I've ever seen. They have the ability to shut down the run and the pass, and they are really the good-looking team. And my heart goes out there in Rodgers. It was a beating he took. And Shane, to finish an illustrious career like his on a pick six, that word, the only word that fits is ignominious. It's terrible. And it's unfortunate because he's a great player.
Yeah, he's one of the best of all time, boy. Back, 10, 12 years ago in his heyday, he was extremely athletic, could run around, make plays, tremendous quick release, Hall of Famer. But look, man, it's a young man's game, really. That has to be it for Aaron Rodgers. The only way I can see him playing any more football is if middle of the season next year, some team needs a veteran for a few weeks or what have you. That's possible, but I think he's done. So,
far be it from me to tell anybody to retire. And I will never tell anybody when it's time to retire. But this is the classic example over the last 50 years when they say you lost a step. He literally has lost a step. And for him, timing was so important. But, I mean, he shouldn't hang his head. It was just brutal to take a beating physically and mentally. And what the Texans, as you said, just shut them down.
John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, I was watching Big Ben and Peyton and Eli. I was wondering when Shane was going to get the invite. They only invite big name guys, but their show is outstanding. It's the only way to watch Monday Night Football. Barone71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Buddy wants to know, what jersey number did you wear when you played baseball at UF?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't have a picture of it, but it was not anything significant. My high school in football, basketball, and baseball, all were 12. That was my number there. I think it might have been some high number. As a freshman, I got to play some and I was a scrub on these varsity for half a year. So, Barone, I'm not trying to be evasive. I don't have a picture of it anywhere. I had to find an old significant that you remember.
So you were like one of those spring training guys wearing number 68?
Yeah, sort of like that high number. But I got it. But look, hey, listen, I'm proud. I got a Letterman's card. I'm a Letterman, and that was an accomplishment for me. And I got a chance to play a little as a freshman with some terrific ball players. But it was my best game, but football was the game I loved. I didn't get a chance to play that. Probably fortunate.
All right, here's a good one for you, Buddy, from AU Gator on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. I wonder what Buddy's thought about the reporter who gave a pep talk to Liam Cohen during a post-loss press conference. I didn't think that was the place for the comment.
Yeah, we talked about last night, if you remember, a lot, and I had two thoughts about it because there are hybrid people who are fans and also they're fans and they're reporters and journalists. And I talked about this split thing last night, what it's like, because I've been one, but also defended myself and said, hey, I was a badass reporter at one time. I mean, when the University of Florida president calls you a liar in print and then has to eat his word, I was aggressive. I was not your friendly, just, local yokel writer. But this woman, Lynn, what was her last name? My heart went out to her in a way. She was trying to do a good thing. If those didn't hear about it, Liam Cohen last night in his first question in the press conference. And I don't even know what press conferences are anymore. They're just so hybrid. I don't understand them. They're promotional vehicles. But I thought Cohen handled it gracefully. And she was trying to be a good citizen and say, thank you, how proud we are of our Jaguars. But as you pointed out, that's the kind of thing you say off to the side. You don't say in a press conference, but Shane, I don't know what a press conference is anymore. I mean, I see them in politics, I see them in sports. It's just a one big hype, that's all it is. So I'm not going to be so harsh on her. Edgar Thompson on tomorrow night on my show, and he's a hardcore guy. And I know he probably hates stuff like because B guys want to get to the heart of the matter. They want to know what was wrong with the left tackle and why'd you call this play, and people who take that time to gush as she did. And she was very proud, and she has a right to do that, but not in that format. So good on her, but bad timing and bad place to do it.
Yeah, but technically, buddy, from a journalism standpoint, that's something that you're not
That's
supposed to
correct.
do. Yeah,
But then on
that's
the other hand, what do journalists do right anymore?
yeah, yeah. I thought she was going to I didn't see it, but it sounds like she was going to hand Liam a participation trophy.
I did, and I had actually had an AI graphic of it on my column this morning, and I got into the theory of this, and then I wrote a column about. Let me gush for a minute because I'm really impressed with what Summerall has done in these past 10 days. Because if you read the fine print and you look at it and you start studying it a little bit, and I've done a little bit, he's made some remarkable strides. In fact, I'll get into this a little later if you want to. But however you rate these things, transfer portal wise, he's been an amazing. But he hadn't even showed up in any so-called rankings. The portal, he is, I think, and you would have to say too, Shane, based on what you told me about the quarterback he's got, the players, the coaches. And I read a terrific piece this morning on Phil Troutwine by Scott Carter. If you haven't read it, go to FloridaGators.com and read his piece about Troutwine. Troutwine is a huge difference maker, and it all is about how he's motivated. So, yeah, I'm rambling on here, but there's two sides of that story, and it's hard to know which one to be on, but I think it's okay to be a so-called homer if you want to root for your team. Just don't use a public format like a press conference.
Speaking of the Gators in the portal, I think they've done a phenomenal job. I don't care where it's the rankings or any of that stuff. I think what they've done for the football team, I think I really like our skill positions. I like what they've done at the wide receiver position. I love the running back room. I think you're going to have a great battle in the spring between Tramel Jones and Aaron Philo. I wouldn't count out Will Griffin, but being a kid come from high school, I'm fine with him redshirting. But I think those two guys are going to battle it out. And offensive line play several years. They're bringing in guys that are familiar with Penn State.
Three of them, three big guys.
Yeah. And what I will tell you about Georgia Tech offensive linemen, they have been physical, they've been nasty, they've been guys that get in the trenches and battle. They out physical, or maybe not out physical, but were just as physical as the Georgia Bulldogs on the line of scrimmage the last two times they played them. So I think you got to feel pretty good about what they've done. They've added some pieces on defense, and now you just got to go win games. And these people that want to sit here and talk about the rankings and this, we didn't get a big name quarterback. You don't need one. You don't need one. You don't. You need a guy that's going to know how to run an offense and throw completions. That's all you need. And I think they'll find one between Tramel Jones and Aaron Philo.
Rizzo, you've been consistent in saying that. I must say, you're right.
Well, like I said, I've said it on this show. I feel like every day, buddy. If the Gators, let's back up a year. If the Gators in the portal had signed Trinidad Chambliss and Mendoza, do you think anybody would care? No, they've been raising hell at Billy Napier or whoever the staff was that brought those two guys in because they'd never heard of them. There are good players around the country that either they don't meet the measurables because their hand size is too small. They can only throw a ball 55 yards instead of 72 yards, which means nothing. The bottom line is, will we have a quarterback that can run a system, throw completions next year? Absolutely, we will.
All right. So based on what you just said and what you know, and you know a lot more than you say on the show, what kind of grade would you give Summerall right now? Because I think he's
Love
on
giving
fire.
grades, don't you, buddy? You should have been a
Well,
damn teacher.
this is what we do. I was. This is what we do. We want to say, how are we? People want to know, how are we doing, Shane? You're the so-called expert. You do the games. You know people we don't know. You talk to people, and just feels like and everything. I'm just a humble reporter trying to get a crumb here and there. And what little I've been able to discern in my research and my show, it seems like he's really got something started there now. I think, and I'm not going to be over my skis. I'm not going to declare him a national champion. I'm not going to get caught up in the syndrome. But it's fun to watch your team get better. And I think even on paper, which we've seen the last, 8 or 9 days, this guy's got traction. Things are happening, and they're happening fast. So in the portal especially. So I'm encouraged.
So I'd give him an A. If you want me to get out
Okay,
my
all right.
red
That's
pen
all I
and
want.
grade them,
Yeah,
they'd
we'll
have
give
an
it to
A.
him. Okay, that's
I
fair.
think the receiving room, I think the running back room, we got two good guys to back up. Not even count. We got two guys. Let me just back up. We got two guys out of the portal that can really run the football to when ball needs a break.
And we got a guy back that you need to have in the ball.
Well, you got Duke Clark coming back, who I like a lot too. So, I really like what they've done. Hey, you just got to go win games, man. Just got to go win games.
I'm telling
And I think they
you,
will.
mark this down. You're going to see this happen. I'm telling you right now, because we can't know how to grade these guys. I don't know, and I don't know that you know. But when you talk about having a dominant offensive line, which I think Troutwine will have in 2 years and be good this year. Now it changes everything about the way the offense runs the ball, where the quarterback plays, etc. And as you say, Faulkner doesn't care what you want to do. You want to throw it deep, you want to throw it short, whatever. He'll adapt to the quarterback's skills. You tell me we're okay at quarterback. I trust you. You know the position. And you throw in the offensive line and the wide receivers and the running back rooms. This team's got some moxie. They got some opportunities here. That's all I'm saying. Opportunities. That's all Gator fans want to hear. Give me an opportunity.
Ted on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, says, do you think they need another QB who can play? Because it seems like our QBs have gotten injured the
No.
past couple of years.
No.
They don't. The QBs you're talking about that have gotten injured or DJ, Anthony Richardson, and Mertz just blew his ACL out. That was just a
And
freak
you
deal.
called the Anthony Richardson shot before it happened, because I asked you multiple times about him, his skill set, and you kept telling me you coached against him. He was injury prone. You called that shot.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys are limited at what they do. You can see it as all you got to do is watch one game. It blows my mind, but neither here nor there. Ruse Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We got Buddy Martin here. We'll have Franz Beard talk a little hoops. The next portion, Gators got a big game tonight at Oklahoma. We'll also talk about Franz's book that he's built, that he wrote.
Mm-hmm.
He built it too, though.
We built it with him, but he wrote
right.
it.
The Golden Season. So
good book. You got to get it. And
hey, buddy, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
When you print a book like this,
yeah,
what is like the normal amount of copies you do? Like, I know they probably do it like you add more later, but like initially, how many do you order?
Depends, because first of all, our own publishing company, which is B&C and Gator Bay, we published and paid for the printing. That's unusual because we feel like we can do it a better job, and we control it. There's no set number. You have to estimate. And here's the problem. You can't just order the books tomorrow like shirts and get them in 2 weeks. It takes months if you're printing your own books, which we are. So I'll just tell you, we ordered around just under 3,000 books. It cost a lot of money to print those books and have them delivered and store them. But that's what we felt like we had to do to control the product. So I'm saying anybody, if you're going to do a book, you got to do, if you're any serious, you got to do 1,000 to 1,500 minimum, and then find out when you can turn them around. And the whole problem is, if you think you can go to Amazon and do a publishing company and they make money, forget it. They pay you peanuts. They pay you pennies. Just getting the book published is hard, but we have a saying: anybody can write a book. The trick is to sell it.
John Jett on YouTube, brought to you by Quiet Plum, says, same old question. Does Florida run some five wides under Summerall?
No.
Now, I think people need to get out of the five wide thing. Nobody in America does that anymore. I don't, as much college football as I watch, I don't think one team that I saw ran five wide. The entire.
Oh, you might get into it on with motion, but you don't go to set five wides. I mean,
right. You may line up in empty.
Right.
Empty is different than five wide. You have
Right.
five eligible receivers lined up.
Right.
With nobody in the back for a quarterback.
Well, Shane, you know what I'm saying. Excuse me for interrupting you, but I have to talk sooner. I forget it at my age. The tight end has become a different kind of weapon. They're actually handing the ball off to the tight end. He's coming, and now you're seeing that in the pros. And I'll tell you something else. If you follow you know anything about the single wing at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My high school coach came to us in my senior year, ran the single wing at Florida Ocala. The next year they went to it, and they were studs. They had one, and you got to remember there's a direct snap every time to the tailback. The single wing, you got to block him back there, and you got what they're doing now. If you look at the motion, they wind up in what looks like a single wing sometimes. It's amazing what they do. And now the tight end, the jet sweep has become a big weapon all of a sudden. Have you noticed that, Shane? The jet sweeps really used a lot right now, and the short handoffs. So to me, it's kind of changing. They're adapting to it, and it's become a little more complex than just straight up power football or throw the football.
Andy's question for you on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, buddy, Scott Strickland was on Dooley's show and said they are looking at the Ring of Honor criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you include in the Ring of Honor now?
Mm-hmm. Me?
Yeah.
Shane Matthews.
Well, there's multiple people that need to go.
No, I would put you in there because you changed.
Yeah, but Carlos Alvarez and
you asked me a question. And of course, Carlos Alvarez is my favorite all-time player. I wrote tons of stories about him. He'll be in it. Who all's in it now? Like 5 guys, 6 guys, whoever it is. With Urban was, I think, the 5th or 6th. It can't be just a criteria. It's too hard. You have to be Player of the Year, a Heisman winner, whatever. I think there needs to be a little more lenient system, but not too lenient, because all halls of fame are hard to get into, and you shouldn't have one all the time. Yes, the answer is I did not hear that, but thank you. I hope they do something about it. And I think it makes a difference because we have a lot of great players that need to. I mean, Percy Harvin will never be in the Hall of Fame, will never be in the Ring of Honor, and he ought to be.
Yeah. I would just off the top of my head, the first 2 I would put in would be Lomas and Carlos Alvarez because they're both in college football.
Well, they're going to make it.
Then I would put in Percy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going on recent. I mean, I know you need to go back before I was a Gator, obviously. Percy, Rex Grossman, Chris Leak needs to go in. He's our all-time leading passer.
We forget about him, don't we?
Yeah, but he needs to be in. So they need to freaking just put a bunch of them in there that are deserving. So we'll see. When Urban Meyer, speaking of the Ring of Honor, wanted to introduce his high-quality tequila to the Gator Nation, he made sure to get it to the HBC and his teams at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Dorn's Liquors. Go beyond with smooth Los Landeros tequila. Andy says Fred Taylor. Absolutely, Fred Taylor needs to be in.
Yeah, Fred Taylor needs to be in there. You're right, Andy. Andy's good. Andy's so good. He's on it, man.
He's the best running back I've ever seen here.
Who, Andy Taylor? Oh, no.
Not Andy Taylor, but Fred Taylor.
No, I'm with you. There were a few others. I'll tell you, you didn't see Larry Dupree, okay? And you laugh and you say, Larry Dupree, who was he? Let me tell you what he was.
Well, I heard a lot about him.
Well, I saw him playing high school ball, followed him all the way through. And Tommy Shannon, you know who he is? The quarterback who Coach Spurrier played with? Tommy Shannon.
T-Bird.
T-Bird. Well, his name is Tommy Shannon, yeah. He tells me, has told me multiple times, the best football player he ever saw at Florida, period, was Larry Dupree. Just saying. People don't know who he is.
We got people chiming in. Larry Smith, John Reed.
Yes.
Anderson. Yeah, you can go on and on.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it good. I think they should be more inclusive on that. Is I know what they're trying to do, but we'll see. Hey, Shane, I have to ask you a real quick question before you get busy. How do you like McAfee's program?
Don't watch it.
Okay. Well, you don't watch game day at all, huh? Ever?
Very seldom. I might for 5 minutes before I have to leave to go to campus or get on a
Hmm.
bus or whatever. I don't watch it more than 5 or 10 minutes. And it's not
What?
because I don't like the show. I just don't sit around watching it.
But what is your impression?
Well, he's very loud and obnoxious,
Hmm.
but he's probably brought a lot more to that program, I would assume.
Hmm.
I know he gives away a lot of money for charity through the
Hmm.
kicking contest, and I don't know if that's his money or ESPN's money.
It's his, yeah.
Um, but I really don't have an opinion, buddy.
Okay, your impression. Here's the thing: there's a story, a major story on online on the Athletic that his slipping. This is they readers were asked, "How do you feel about Pat McAfee on College Game Day?" Nearly half the responders answered, "Don't like it." Half. So and now they say, "Well, giving away the money's what got the ratings." I'm a little surprised he's gotten Saban to respond to him like he has. I don't hate it. I'm just not a fan of it. I just wondered what you thought about it.
Yeah, I have not watched it very much.
Okay. But
Um,
here's the big scoop. You want to know, here's the big scoop you should
Give
be
us some
talking
scoop,
about.
buddy.
Well, everybody wants to know who cut Boogie Flan's hair. Boogie Flan.
Oh, Boogie Flan?
Yeah, Boogie Flan,
I
Boogie
have
Flan.
no idea.
I know there's a big story about his dreads being cut off. You know that, right?
Yes.
And he had an unbelievable game. I talked to Kevin Brockway about this. He was on it. We said somebody needs to find out. In the journalism game, it's an old question: Did you get the name of the dog? Which means the details. Well, the mystery's solved today. Somebody came up with this. I wish I'd give him credit because it was on Twitter. The same barber that cut Walter Clayton's dreads cut Boogie Flan's dreads. All right. It's shout out to Jordan X Fade Z on social media. So congrats. I thought at first I saw Walter Payton. I said,
Do you think
wow,
he saved them?
probably, wouldn't you think? 5 years ago, 5 years.
That's what I wanted to know, how long it takes to grow those.
Okay. Well, that's the next question. Some of you great reporters out there find out how long does it took 5 years to grow those? 5 years. So I don't know. I'm not an expert on dreads. I believe that's to the experts like Andy.
Buddy, you look good in dreads.
I would, wouldn't I? I think I
Mhm.
would. I had the worst facial hair in the history of America between red and gray, and when I had a mustache and a beard, it was awful. You don't want to see it, Shane. Did you ever have a beard?
No, it's just too itchy for me.
Yeah.
All right,
You
buddy,
want
before we get you out of
yeah,
here,
yeah. You're trying to run me off. I know. Go ahead.
no, we won't get till after the national championship game. Who do you like in
Okay.
the Miami, Indiana game?
Indiana all the way. I'm so blown away by this team and this story. I've said it on the program here and on my show. It is the best college football story I can ever remember in my years. So, all the things now with him going to Miami to play, where he played high school ball, his family, his mother played tennis for Miami. I just think the whole story, the coach, the quarterback, the team, amazing story. And I'm going with Indiana. They beat the crap out of the two good teams they played, and they're going to beat Miami. That's my prediction.
I think you're right. I think they should. If they play their normal game, they will win for sure. LK wants me to bring Mick Hubert on. Mick's been on a couple of times over the years. Mick is enjoying his retirement
He
right
is. By the way, let me just say a word about Sean Kelly, okay, if I may, your partner.
now. Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I was mixed to wait and see how this is going to go. How I'm not sure. After you have a new announcer to get used to him. And I'll tell you how I discovered this. I heard a game on the radio that wasn't a Florida game. It was an ESPN game being broadcast. I forget which game it was. I thought that announcer is pretty good. You know who it was?
Sean.
Sean.
Yeah, he does a lot of bowl games.
Yeah, and he does well basketball. He does really good on. I mean, such a fast moving game. And anyway, so I'm becoming a Sean Kelly fan. I liked the Mig. Mig was a little too gushy at times. The old mind thing and all that, but I know fans like that. So
Well, he
I don't
stole
know.
that from Dick Enberg.
Dick Enberg is correct. That's been written about many times. He flat out stole, and he admitted he stole it. And they called it and asked permission. He said, "Sure, go ahead with it." Enberg was a terrific announcer. Anyway, yeah, I like Sean a lot. I think Gator fans are lucky to have him. I like you guys together. I wish you gave more opinions, but you hold back a little too much sometimes.
William says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. Shane, can the Georgia Tech transfer QB hit the deep ball? Well, of course he can. If you're playing quarterback in the college football level, you can throw the deep ball.
But it's a pretty good question, though. I think he wants to know is how good can he throw the deep ball. That's what we don't know yet. We
Well,
think he
I
can
don't.
throw
I'd
it.
rather him throw their stuff better than the deep.
Yeah, I know you like the other timing patterns
He
and
will- he-
checkdowns and all
he-
that.
Let's just put it this way: he's the all-time leading passer
High
in the
school,
state of Georgia. Okay,
high school.
we had the all-time leading passer, I think, Florida for the state of North Carolina, Chris Leak, and I can't. Will what you call it? The kid that got suspended,
Greer.
Will Greer. Okay. If
Where's
you're
Brock
throwing
Berlin?
the ball that much and throwing that many yards, you know how
Yeah.
to play quarterback.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about it. But you're the one. You're the one who complained about the deep ball more than anybody.
It's not complaining about it. It's called the deep ball.
I know, but you
can't throw it if
But
it's not
you
called.
thought they didn't throw it enough.
We don't throw it enough.
And so that's a legitimate question. And you got one more assignment to do, which is about the deep ball. Could get
Yeah,
back to us.
I have zero concerns. Zero.
All right, well, you're the QB man, so they call you QB for a reason.
Look, again, before we brought in quarterbacks and brought in this player and that player, when we hired Buster Faulkner, he's the National Offensive Coordinator of the Year.
Yeah,
it's a damn good coach who knows how to call plays. That's all you need to know. I don't care if they have Buddy at quarterback.
Wait a minute, don't start saying like. Hey, let me just mention one thing. Be sure and read Scott Carter's piece today on Phil Troutline. It is good. It gives you his whole background, his passion, why he came to Florida. He's been waiting for this opportunity. It's a really good piece. If you don't do anything else today, go to FloridaGators.com and read Scott Carter's piece on Troutline and understand how he's going to be a key piece for this team and John Summerall.
Very true. All right, buddy. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
We will talk to you next week, my man.
Good luck with friends.
That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Relive the Gator basketball national championship teams every thrilling moment with Franz Beard's new book, The Golden Season, the unforgettable story behind Florida's historic 2025 title run. Available now at spurriers.com. Click the shop tab, and have it shipped the same day. We're going to speak to that man, Franz Beard, here coming up. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Linderos Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Comfort Temp, Florida Cracker Oyster, Electronics World, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, MG&A Wealth. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, call my man Freddie, 352-284-3733.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, plus you can enjoy bottomless mimosas.
The best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger, and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Florida Crackers, a brand for original Floridians. Great food, southern hospitality. Visit us in Brooksville, Florida, or visit Florida Cracker Oyster Bar in Keystone Heights. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by our man, Franz Beard, who has written this book, The Golden Season. I have my book right here, Franz. Got my book. Let's before we talk, I want to talk a little hoops and the portal, but let's talk about this book. How long did it take you to write it?
About a month and a half. And it was pretty intense, a lot of days when I had 4 or 5 hours on it. It was very, very very much a lot of research and a lot of going back. I do it the old-fashioned way, Shane. Every ball game, I do a running play-by-play score sheet, time, all this, and all my notes, and I keep them all. And I went through the entire season like that, and it brought back a lot of memories. And I got to tell you what, it was a necessity, because last year was a tough year, just like this one has been, because I lost my mom. But last year I lost my stepfather. And basketball kind of rescued me. It pulled me out, gave me reason and purpose to get up and do stuff. And then after the season, I wanted to write it, and I wanted to tell the story. It's easy to report. There's a story to be told, and the story is sometimes a lot better than the reporting. I'm a pretty good storyteller, reporter. I think a lot of people might think that, but I'm a pretty good storyteller. And so I wanted to tell the story about this team and get to the heart of what happened. And there are turning points in the season, such as when Micah decided to come back. And I think to this day that they could not have won the national championship if Micah had not come back. Even though he couldn't play at 100%, he could give them 8 to 10 minutes a game, and he gave them 5 fouls that are 7'1". And people underestimate, Shane, the ability. It's kind of like having a left tackle that's 6'8" and 330 pounds. He may not be the most athletic guy in the world, but he's kind of tough for the guy on the edge to get around him because he's so big. And having Micah in there gave them those 5 extra fouls, and I think it proved to be a wonderful thing. So it was a fun book to write. It took about, like I said, it took about 6 weeks or so, a month and a half, and I got a completed product. And I got to tell you what, Carlton Reese is just a fabulous editor. He really is. Good, tremendous writer. Fabulous editor, and had a lot of encouragement and help from Buddy as well. Buddy Martin is, Buddy's done this for a few years, and I think between Buddy and I, when we're in the press box for football, I think you got about probably 100 and something years worth of watching Florida football combined, which is not a lot of people can say that.
That's very true. The text line from Bob. He says, Franz, what would have happened with all your research if the Gators had not won the national title?
There still would have been a story to tell. I don't think people would have been as interested in the book if they hadn't. But the journey to get there was a good story, was a tremendous story, because I don't know, at least in the last 25 years, I don't know of a team that had 3 better guards in every phase. The closest thing you could come to it is Torian Green, Corey Brewer, and Lee Humphrey. but Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, and Will Richard. And all you got to do is look at all three of them are in the NBA right now, and all of them are playing very, very well in the NBA. But they had shot makers. They had, and here's the thing that they did. You had three guys who weren't afraid to take the last shot, and they weren't afraid to miss it if that happened. It takes a certain fear. It's kind of like you as a quarterback. You can't be afraid to make that throw. You got to get even though you know the other guy can go up and get the ball too, but you can't be afraid to make the throw, and you can't be afraid to take that last shot. But here's the kicker with it. They also were not afraid to defend the guy taking the last shot. And that's one of the things that I look back on as one of the critical points of this season is these guys, they as well as they shot the ball, they also defended it.
That's very true. All right. You're going to have some book signings. Let everybody know where they can come buy the book, have you sign it. If they can't make it, they can always go to spurriers.com and buy it there. Where are your book signings coming up?
I got two. One of them coming up next Tuesday at Cogent Bank in Ocala. It's going to be fun because Jeffrey Meldon has graciously provided one of those replica national championship rings to give away there. And then that's the night. I just can't remember who the Gators play that night. But then they play. That's the night for the LSU game, and then they play the following Saturday from 11 to 1. We'll be at Prestige Autos, Chris Spears, and we're going to have a signing there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've signed my name more than I thought. Signed my name more in the last month than I have last couple of months than I have probably in the last 20 years.
Talk about the basketball team this year. They're kind of getting it going here in conference play. Huge win against Tennessee, just dominated the Vols here at home. They play Oklahoma tonight. We know about the front court. The back court has struggled, but it looks like Boogie Flan had a tremendous game against Tennessee. What have you seen these guys up close? Are they gelling? I don't want to compare them to last year's team, but they still have a chance to make a deep run, don't you think?
If the guard play is as good moving forward as it was this past week, because they had great guard play against Georgia. They just didn't make shots, but all of a sudden against Tennessee, they made the shot too. You look at this, they held Georgia, which was the nation's leading scoring team, to 67 points. Unbelievable what they did there. And then they held Tennessee down too. One of the things you look at, just like in football, you look at yards per attempt by a quarterback. That's usually the measure of a good offense. If you're getting 8 yards a attempt, which is basically what you did, that means you had a really good offense. In basketball, if you're holding teams below 20 3-point attempts, you're really playing great defense. Georgia and Tennessee combined for 34 attempts. That's all they could squeeze off. Means you're taking the 3 away, you're making them play inside and where you have your advantage on the inside. And that's going to be the critical thing. Defense, rebounding. If they make shots, it's a real plus, and I think they're going to. Boogie Flan, watch him. If he drives early, gets to the foul line, usually that's a sign that good things are going to happen. He gets into a shooting rhythm when he's at the foul line, and that's when his outside shot starts to fall. So watch that. Xavier Lee, I'll tell you what, between those two guys, when they get the ball in traffic, you can't press Florida. You just can't press them. They're going to beat the press every time. Oklahoma will try to press tonight. They'll beat it. I promise you. Vanderbilt presses the entire game. That's going to be a track meet in Nashville on Saturday. That's going to be a terrific ball game.
Yeah. On YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, B. Shield says, Franz, I live in Michigan. How do I get a book? Spurriers.com. Is that correct, Franz?
That is correct.
Yeah, go to spurriers.com, click on the shop tab, and they'll have it shipped out today.
Yeah. Freddie Weeby is absolutely incredible about his team. He's got a great team. You've been in there and seen them. They work like a machine. And by gosh, if you get that order in, it is one out, and they're terrific about it.
Yeah. Andy on Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law wants to know, where do you rank Thomas Houck among all the all-time greats that you've seen at Florida?
He's rising as we speak. This is the thing about him is he is rising. I think right now, if they had to vote for the SEC Player of the Year, you'd have Tyler Tanner at Vanderbilt and Tommy Hawk would be your two top guys easily, followed by the Darius Acuff at Arkansas. But I would say since 2000, the year 2000, that's how I think is the way to do it, because I don't think you could rate him. You're talking about different eras here, the shot clock, 3-point shot, etc., like that. In this era, he would be in my top 20 players of that the Gators have had since the year 2000. He's rising on that. He could end up being right up there with Walt as the best one of this era. He's tremendous. Very coachable, very hardworking. He's like, he plays 36, 37 minutes a game, and he doesn't look like he's tired. You talk to him after the game, he says, yeah, I can play another 30 minutes if we want to.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player, no question about it. Let's switch gears a little bit, Franz, with the portal. It closes the end of this week. Buddy likes to do grades, right? He always wants me to grade stuff. Tell me your grade for John Sumrall and the Gators staff on what they've done in the portal.
Looking for star power, I don't think it's going to be great. If you're looking for filling the holes with very competent quality players, I give him an A on that, because they've got 22 guys that have committed. And as I look at it, he has filled so many holes. He's added, I think, 5 offensive linemen. He's added defensive linemen. He's gotten quality help in the secondary. He got Kanye Clark yesterday, safety from UCLA, he's done a great job of plugging the holes. He got all the he lost all the special teams guys, so he replaced them all. He's got 2 kickers, a punter and a long snapper that have come in. And I understand there's going to be another long snapper coming in. He's still he's gotten a couple of tight ends. I understand he's going to get another one. He's probably going to get 2 or 3 more wide receivers for this match. I think he's done a tremendous job of filling the gaps. You got to remember something, Shane. We go from 85 to 105 scholarships now. So Florida's got 60 veterans, incoming 19 rookies, okay? 79. That means you still got 26 scholarships out there. And this next week's going to be critical, because you're going to have to get the depth. That's where it's going to come. And there's a lot of teams with a lot more to make up than what Florida does. I mean, Auburn, for example, lost 30 players. Wow, that's a lot. Mississippi State and is another one, and Arkansas is another one. Missouri is another one. All of them lost more than 30, 35 players. Florida lost 30, but they've already replaced them with 22. So I think that Sumrall is doing well.
So this year is the year they get rid of the walk-ons.
Yeah.
But a lot of those walk-ons are getting scholarships, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to have to do it. The guys that would be preferred walk-ons are going to become scholarship players now. And it's going to change how we sign, because the NCAA in its infinite wisdom has screwed up this just like they've screwed up everything else they've ever done. And they've got to come up with a better process. I'm all for 105 scholarships. I think that's fine. But I think what they got to do is allocate it in 25-year times 5 years, and that's all you get. You got Florida's playing Vanderbilt Saturday, and they got a guy named Duke Miles. This Vanderbilt is his fourth team. He's played 6 years. As I understand it, when Indiana plays Miami, Miami's got a receiver that this is his seventh year in college football. I wish you had gotten another 3 years. I think you,
Yeah, I do too. That would have been fun.
especially if they'd paid you $2 million. I mean, I think
That's more than I made in my first 10 years in the league.
I think that I think that goodness, I look at this. Trinidad Chambliss, excuse me, is suing the NCAA, and you know what? He's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to win. The NCAA, in its infinite wisdom, always backs itself into a corner by doing stuff that is going to get litigated. And they're what, 0 for 2065 in the courts. They get clobbered in the courts every time. He's going to get it. I have to wonder about some of these guys that Florida's got. Florida's got some guys that, like Khalil Jackson. I think with all the injuries he's had, I would love to see him appeal and come back. I don't know that he is. I haven't seen anything that would tell me that he is, but I think he's a kid that could win an appeal or should win an appeal easily. And he's a very talented guy. He's just been prone to getting hurt.
Atlantic Roofing, your roofing experts for residential commercial roofing with more than 50 years of local experience. A few more minutes with Franz Beard. We're talking about a little bit of everything, but his book he wrote, The Golden Season. You can get that book. If you can't go to his signings, you can get it at spurriers.com. Click on the shop tab. Text here from Roger on the Titan Bar text line. He says, Franz, where would you rank Tide Golden as a coach in NCAA? And do you think it's taken a couple of games or mid-season here by losing his defense and offensive coordinator? It's a long text. I just tried to paraphrase it. But a lot of people may not remember he lost his defensive coordinator and his offensive coordinator off last year's national championship team. So not only are we breaking in some new guard play, but breaking in some new coaches as well.
Yeah, Kevin Hovde, who's at Columbia, and Columbia, by golly, has won 12, 13 ball games so far. They're playing really, really well. He lost Andrew Zach, who's at Campbell, Buies Creek, North Carolina. Campbell University used to be Campbell College. They used to play in a gym that seated 800, and it was scary to play in there. But the Campbell Camels, and defensively, I think I think they're playing on the same par as they were last year. Right now, you look at these last two ball games, and look how well they defended them. The defense, I think, has been a work in progress. Jonathan Safire now has the offense, and yesterday Todd was talking about it. He said, we've been together for 9 years. He said he's kind of an extension of me. So I think that he's doing Florida's scoring is just fine. Florida's averaging 84, 85 points a ball game. The problem is they hadn't made shots. If they make shots, everybody would be talking about he's the greatest thing since the invention of crushed ice.
Very true. France, time goes by way too fast. Let everybody know one more time where you're signing and what days you're signing your books, and then how they can get it again on Spurriers.
Next Tuesday, a week from today, it'll be at Cogent Bank in Ocala. That's on the square in Ocala. And then on Saturday, I'll be there at Prestige Autos, and that's on State Road 200 over near across from the mall, basically. So right just past the mall there, and in Ocala from 11 o'clock to 1. There's ball game at 4 o'clock that day, and I'll be in both those places. Or you can go to spurriers.com and order it, and let Freddie Weeby and his crew zip it out to you in a heartbeat. If you want to wait for it at your doorstep, they'll bring it to you.
And one more question on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing from MSRK. Do you think Clayton was the best guard or Maxwell in Gator history? I think I'm gonna give you my 2 cents, because I didn't get to see Mad Max play because I wasn't a Gator yet, but he probably had the better career. I think Walter had the better year. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
It does make sense. Vernon was here for 4 straight years, and I told him, it's funny, Shane, because I told him the other night, I said, you missed your calling. He said, what do you mean? I said, you were a better football player than you ever were a basketball player. He said, why do you think that? I said, I watched you play. You were 6'4", 200 pounds, and there was not a defensive back in the world that could have covered you. He was that fast and that elusive, and he only had about a 42-inch vertical. So, you would have loved throwing the ball to him. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But all had the better season. Nobody's ever had a season like Walter had. I mean, from start to finish, I mean, that was unbelievable. But for the entire career, you'd have to give that to Vernon. He was here for 4 full years, and Vernon helped get the Gators to places they had never been before. Walter, it's great that Walter got a championship, but Vernon helped get the Gators and make basketball, turn them into a relevant team, I guess is what I would like to say.
And the beauty about that, you just talked about it, and what I preach to young kids: play every sport you can play until you make a decision. And Walter Clayton and Vernon Maxwell at one time were football players, and damn good ones. So that helped them be better basketball players, is what I'm trying to say.
Vernon was a 5-star football recruit. Walter was a 4.
Man.
Thank you so much, Shane. Enjoy your show.
Yep, that's Franz Beard. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and make sure the Golden Season, outstanding book. If you can't go to the signings, just go to spurriers.com, click on the shop button, and you can get it done, get it sent out immediately. The Pouncey Twins provide all of Gator Nation with the highest quality liqueurs made by J.F. Hayden Craft Liqueurs. Find your favorite flavors at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Again, thanks to Buddy and Franz for joining the program. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.